And welcome to another Mike Parlett radio show. I want to say a big thanks to Bob Semple for another great Back to Basics show. Bob Semple will be back again, same time, same place next week. We are broadcasting live right here, live from Talented Productions, Talented Studios in Los Angeles, California. And my special guest today was supposed to be Darren Ron, but we're going to see if we can maybe try and get him on the show today. In fact, he's calling me. Darren Ron is calling me. Darren Ron is calling me, and you are live on the radio. Darren, how you doing? How's it going, Darren?
I'm doing fine.
Darren Ron on my radio show. I think both of us forgot actually, but it's good. But you're here now, and it's great to have you here, Darren. Are you able to come on live on the show? We are actually live now, but would you like to come on and maybe talk a little bit about some of your music that you've got going on at the moment? Maybe in about 15, 20 minutes time?
I can call in on the phone, sure.
All right, let's do it. So Darren is going to be my special guest, as advertised and as promised, today here on the radio show with my very special guest, Darren Ron, the great Darren Ron. It's next best thing to having you in the studio anyway. But we're going to talk about your current projects that are going on at the moment, some of which we've worked on together, and got some really great, exciting stuff that you've been working on with some other artists who you produce as well. Darren Ron will be my special guest in about 15 minutes. Definitely worth waiting for. Stay around for that. And this is the new album from Julian Vaughn. It is me, Mike Parlett, with the Mike Parlett Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're broadcasting to you live here on my YouTube channel. It's YouTube, Mike Parlett Radio Show. And of course, we're here on Solar Radio, your classic 21st century soul station, and going out live on Facebook as well. Great to have your company. The sound of Julian Vaughan featuring my very good friend Donald Hayes on the tenor saxophone, and very nice indeed. Track from Julian Vaughan's new album. It was called Chapters of Love, and that track was called Sway. This is something very, very nice indeed from a very wonderful singer by the name of Rebecca Angel, and it's her version of the Bill Withers classic, Just the Two of Us. We'll come back and talk a little bit about this afterwards. The current single.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, and I wanna spend some time with you. Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us, and building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all it is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We got to go for all we know. Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us, and building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I. Crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes the morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I wanna be the one with you. Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us, building castles in the sky. Just the two of us, you and I.
Very cool version of that, and of course that was actually produced by Jason Miles, and I haven't heard very much from Jason Miles for a long time, but it's very nice to see him producing some of the younger upcoming talent, and that particular song no exception. And I want to actually kind of dip into an album that Jason Miles released back in 2016, and it's called To Grover with Love, and it's a live album, and this is a wonderful, great song, Marvin Gaye and Inner City Blues.
No? Come on, man. Come on, Tony.
And his
A
version.
little old school. Come on, let's go. Want to feel this.
Had a lot of fun, actually. I did actually get to play with Jason Miles a few years back. Very nice guy, and he actually came on as a guest on one of my radio shows a few years ago. You can pull up some of these radio shows if you like to go and listen to some of the earlier people that we've had, him being one of them. And you can go to iTunes and type in Mike Parlett Radio Show, or of course you can always go to our Mixcloud page. It's mixcloud.com, Mike Parlett Radio Show. Please subscribe. And we're going out right now live on YouTube and Facebook. It's a sax players convention featuring
Thank you.
the great
Monday Night Late Show.
Gerald
Yes.
Albright.
Nick Morak, Eric Darius, Andy Snitzer,
Yes.
Buddy Williams, Gerald Veasley, Ralph McDonald, yours truly, Jason Miles. Thank you.
And yes,
Thank
indeed,
you.
Gerald
You're wonderful.
Albright was on that album as well. It's a wonderful, certainly wonderful album. Gonna see if we can get another track from there, perhaps later on in the show. I've got another great saxophone player coming on in about 5 minutes. So right after this, Darren Ron is going to be my special guest on the program today. We're very excited about that. Coming on to talk about some new music that he's been producing. Great producer, great saxophone player, and all-round thoroughly cool guy. This is Tony Sanders. There we go. It is indeed the Mike Parlett Radio Show, and we have on the line all the way from Colorado the great Mr. Darren Ron. How you doing, Darren?
I'm great. How are you?
Yes, he's there. Is the snow still there?
We have sunshine today, but you know, this is Colorado, so we can get snow at any time. You know, until we hit the middle of June, we're not safe.
All right. Okay. Are you a skier? You must be a skier, of course.
I am a skier. Yes.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, you're certainly in the right place for it. Tell us exactly where you are in Colorado.
I am the south end of Denver. So, yeah, it takes us about 30 minutes to get up into the mountains, and yeah, just a great place to live and create music.
Very nice indeed. My very special guest on the program today is the amazing Mr. Darren Ron, and I've been wanting to get this young man on the program for quite a long time now, but we have made it happen today. We're going to talk to Darren. He's got quite an illustrious career and lots of stories to share, I am absolutely sure. We're going to play Infinite Love and then come back and talk to Darren right here on the Mike Parlett Radio Show. It's the Mike Parlett Radio Show, right here, coming to you live from the studios of Talented Productions right here in Los Angeles. It's kind of cloudy out there. I've heard it's been very nice and sunny over in the UK. and everyone's going out and getting some fresh air at last. I did actually get my vaccine last week, which was, a kind of non-event. It was pretty easy. So, I would urge everyone that can to do the same thing. I have my special guest on the program today, the amazing Mr. Darren Ron. Hey, Darren.
Hey, Michael.
Great to have you on, my friend. And it's too bad we can't actually be in person, but we will make that happen. Are you ever down here in Los Angeles at any time?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I come down there usually a couple times a year, so we'll have to plan it so I can come be there in person, and we can hang in the studio.
That would be really cool, man. You bring your saxophone down, and we can do a little bit of jamming together, which that would be a lot of fun. Now let's just talk to you about. But you've been around for quite a while, actually. I know you only look like you're about 22, but but you have been doing this for quite some time. You've got quite a few albums out now. I've kind of lost count how many that you have, but can you tell us how many there are at the moment available?
Sure. I think I have, 5 or 6 solo albums out, and my career is kind of a split between my music and then producing a lot of music for others. And so we've had the opportunity to work with so many awesome people, mutual friends. I know people that we probably both know, guys like Dave Cause. I got my feet wet in this genre with the great Wayman Tisdale. And so many great players, Najee and Tim Bowman and Eric Darius and just a whole slew of people. So I've been so blessed to work with a lot of great people.
And that's great. Now, would you say that you started out your career as a saxophone player, or would you say it was like more of a producer? I mean, kind of how did you get into the industry?
I'd say getting into the industry, my plan was to get in as a saxophonist. And as I was, shopping labels and visiting with people and sharing my music, labels started saying, "Who produced this? Who mixed this?" And I had done it, and so they started offering me production work, and so I guess it was God's plan. It wasn't really my plan to become a producer, and so now it's kind of the best of both worlds. It's like 50-50. I get to do my stuff, and I also get to produce and mix and do a bit of mastering and a bunch of recording, and so life is good. Yeah,
amen to that. It sounds a little bit like my story. But obviously we're both kindred spirits. And it's wonderful to be able to do that because it's a great education as a producer and a musician. Being able to connect with other musicians, other people that have the similar mindset to you is an education to you, and it's a huge amount of learning experience that's involved in that. Exactly. And I know I've definitely, speaking for myself, and I know you as well, we've learned a lot just by mixing with some of these great artists who we've had the privilege to work with. I'm going to play a track from an album called Is the actual album called Moxified?
This was a single. This is actually the song you just heard, Infinite Love, and Moxified are on the upcoming album, which is going to be called Rock the World. And the third single from that album releases tomorrow, Midnight Sun. So Moxified was the first for this new album, and the new album is going to hit late this summer. Very cool.
Just before you go, Darren, this is just a personal question for me. What would you say your main saxophone is that you like playing? Tenor, alto, soprano?
Oh, definitely tenor. Right. I'm definitely a tenor guy. I love them all, and I play them all. But yeah, my favorite horn players growing up were guys like Stanley Turntine and John Coltrane and Michael Brecker. So yeah, I'm definitely a tenor man.
All right, I love that. We're going to come back and talk a bit more about that. Let's have a listen to this. So we're getting our funk on with a little bit of Moxified. My special guest kind of on the phone, kind of sort of virtually in the studio, is my friend Darren Ron. We are coming to you from the studios of Talented Productions right here in Los Angeles. Now, some people ask kind of roughly where we are, but we are between Culver City and Beverly Hills. The place that we live is a little area around here called Faircrest Heights. And it's a very nice kind of area. It's kind of like one of those kind of areas that you don't sort of associate with anything. It's kind of quite residential, but here we have the studio. We are living next to a hospital on one side and then neighbours on another. People do ask, so noise isn't such a problem. It's a very nice place to be here at Talented Productions. If you want to come and do any of your production work or recording or anything, this is certainly a very nice place to do stuff. We have Gemma Boulos in the house. She's been here. Great singer. Hello, Gemma. She's here and on the phone from Colorado, south of Denver, is my very good friend, Mr. Darren Ron. How you doing, Darren?
Great. Having fun hanging with you.
It's great to have you here. And we're kind of talking about your career, and I was just in the break there, you were just slightly off getting your doctorate in music. Tell us a little bit about that, and that you went to the University of Colorado to do your music studies.
Yeah, University of Northern Colorado. So I did my undergrad in music education, and then I went to University of Northern Colorado for my grad work. I did my master's degree in saxophone and jazz performance, and I was about a year away from my doctorate in the same when I decided to take off and dive into the music industry and try to make something happen.
Yeah, well, you certainly made a big success of it, and I'm actually jealous of your studio because you've got some really great gear down there, which you've had for quite a while, including a Bricasti M7 or two of them, I think you told me.
Just one of them.
One of them, yeah. Now for us,
the gear is fun. The gear is fun, right? You and I have had plenty of good discussions about that, and I think it goes both ways, man. Those vintage 441s you have, 421 Sennheisers you have. I'd love to stick those on my drum set, man, on my toms.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, you're welcome. Let's try, man. We can do some swaps. Anyway, so it's great. We, us musicians and producers, we like to nerd out and talk about our gear. But at the end of the day, you listeners are the people that we make music for, and we try to do whatever we can just to make it better and better, to sound more, just more wonderful for you. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is the song. And the artist that's playing it. It doesn't really matter what you record it with. It's all about the music itself. So let's. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of your gospel music that you've done. You are a church guy, and that's great. And actually, you did record a gospel album at some point, didn't you?
I've done a couple. I've done a couple albums of some of my favorite hymns, more kind of reflective stuff, mostly piano and saxophone. And then I've also taken a lot of that gospel influence and infused it into some of my smooth jazz stuff. I remember when I was coming up listening to some of the songs that like Gerald Albright had some songs like that.
Yeah.
Early in his career that just I so connected with those, and so my last album I decided I did a song called Sunday Soul, which is kind of that marriage between the gospel world that I came from and kind of the blues and jazz that we do here. So I just love the depth of the feeling and emotion and meaning of gospel music.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Mr. Darren Ron. He could play a little bit, don't you think? I think you'll agree, listeners. That is Darren Ron, a wonderful gospel rendition there. Was that something you wrote, Darren?
Yeah, that was an original that I wrote on that album.
Absolutely amazing. I'd love to hear more of that style. Very, very nice indeed. Kind of reminiscent of a little bit of Kirk Whalum, and you did actually share with me that he was one of your big influences.
Kirk's one of my favorite tenor players of all time.
No, I've got to tell you, one of the highlights of this particular radio show is when I actually had Kirk on as my special guest, and he was telling me about his solo on "I Will Always Love You" and how it came about. And not that many people knew about him. Well, if you were kind of in the know of smooth jazz at the time, you'd know who Kirk Whalum was. But after he played that, everybody knew it was who he was. And that, of course, that solo was an iconic solo still to this day. And hopefully that particular one will be as well. That for you. Now, not only are you a producer of your own music, you get to work with some other great people. And of course, one of our favourite saxophone players, one of the nicest people in the industry, and most successful, I have to say, is Dave Koz, and that's someone who you've worked with. Tell us about him.
Oh, Dave, he's such a dear friend, and Dave and I met when one of the very first things I produced was a song for Wayman Tisdale called "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." It was obviously a remake of the McFadden and Whitehead tune, and that was, I think, 2004. So Dave and I met. Wayman was on Dave's label, Rendezvous, and we quickly became friends and just have been close friends ever since. So Dave and I have had the opportunity to make a lot of great music over the years and various songs on some of his albums, and we've had a few hits together, and got to do his Christmas album about a year and a half ago, and just one of my best friends. And you're right, great all around great guy.
Yes, indeed, and another one who he came on my radio show a couple of times, and came to the house here, and we jammed together. It was so much fun with him. So I really should reach out to him again and see if we can get him in for another show. But certainly someone he has a real Renaissance man, somebody who's had so many successes and does so many things, and not only for himself but for other people as well. So big up to you, Dave Koz. Let's play a track from his most recent album. It's called A New Day, and this is something called Still Got It. Tell us about this, featuring Antoine Stanley.
Yeah, Dave and I, we were in the studio working on some material for this new album of his. We did a couple songs together, three together, and he just wanted a real good, feel-good, funky song, and so we started working on this, and it was one of those songs that just kind of layer by layer came into focus more and more, and the cast on it was amazing. First we had Paul Jackson Jr. play guitar on it, and of course he killed it. My dear friend Mel Brown just slayed the bass part. And then we brought in Antoine Stanley from Wolfpack to sing, and then Dave said, "Hey, while we're at it, why don't we throw Corey Wong on top of together with Paul Jackson and have on a funk tune? What's better than one great guitar player? We have two great guitar players, so just an amazing crew of people, and of course Dave just killed this one. So really, really great tune. Still got it."
You're listening to the Mike Parlett Radio Show. My special guest is the man himself, Mr. Darren Ron. too funky. It's too funky. I love that baritone on there. Is that you on Barry?
Yeah.
You have a Barry?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Yes, one of those necessary evils, isn't it, really, for us saxophone players? I do get a lot of Barry work these days. People, I mean, I had to, actually, believe it or not, I was doing a horn section with Tower of Power, and Greg Adams came in the studio.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and he wrote some stuff and, had me on Barry, and I was and played tenor with him for another one of our clients. What a guy. Have you worked with Greg Adams before from Tower of Power?
I have played with him before. We've been on some gigs together, and I really, really admire his work. Yep. Great horn player, great arranger, and great guy.
Indeed, yes. Let's talk a little about another one of your artists who you've worked with, and that's Aisha. Wonderful person, lovely singer, very nice young lady indeed. And we've all played with her in various formats. And this is a track you produced for her. Tell us about this.
Yeah, we had played years ago. We were working with a record label, and we had gone and done a gig overseas, and we just became good friends and kind of kindred spirits. And she said, "I would love to work with you." And I said, "Well, come on over." And so we literally collaborated together and wrote this on the spot. Just sat down in the room and started writing, and over a couple days, it all kind of took shape. So that's what you'll hear here, and it's called "Take Me Higher."
Now, just before we spin this, tell us about your writing. And so how do you sit down at the piano and write, or do you play piano at all, keyboards, or
usually for me, usually it starts at the keyboard, or it'll start if I have a groove in my mind. Sometimes I'll even create a drum groove first, and then I'll sit down with the keyboard and play over it.
Okay.
On this track, it started at the Rhodes. I sat down at the Rhodes, and literally the first two chords I hit. Bum, bum, and I mean those first two chords, and that was it. The whole song was based on that, and so the Rhodes went down, and then a little bit of a groove, and then that synth bass, and we were off to the races.
Struggles and pain in life and love, and then you showed me the way, baby. Now it's so clear, I've got no more doubts or fears, 'cause you showed me love and you rescued me. Now my heart runs free. I'm giving it up, I'm laying it down, trying to turn my life around. Higher, take me higher. So take me back, show me how to step on up so I can reach that higher ground. Take me higher. With every passing day, can't help but think of you and me. I'm talking about this love we share, and baby, you know I ain't going nowhere. But honey, now it's so clear, I've got no more doubts or fears, 'cause you showed me love and you rescued me. Now my heart runs free. I'm giving it up, I'm laying it down, trying to turn my life around. Take me higher. is where it all begins to take you higher. Oh, I wanna go higher, higher, higher. Step on up, step on in. This is where it all begins to take you higher, take you higher. Take me higher, take me higher. I'm giving it up, I'm laying it down, trying to turn my life around, my life around. Higher, take me higher, take me higher. Take me back, show me how to step on up so I can reach that higher ground. Around and round and round. Take me higher. Take me back. Show me how to step on up so I can reach that higher. Reaching higher. Step on up, step on in. This is where it all begins to take you higher. Higher, higher, higher. Step on up, step on in. This is where it all begins.
The sound of Aisha, and a wonderful singer and thoroughly nice person and a very talented, great songwriter. And there you go, working with my special guest today. And my guest has been Darren Ron. We're going to play, I think we've got time for one more song before we say goodbye. And hopefully we could get you in the studio next time you're down in LA. Come in, you can bring your horn in. We can play together and have a bit of fun. And you actually do occasionally appear at Spaghettini's, is that right?
I do. I'm usually there once or twice a year, and we don't have any dates on the calendar there right now, but hopefully we'll get some of those lined up here soon and come down there and spend some time with all our SoCal friends.
Yep, that would be very nice indeed. And we want to. If is there anybody you want to say hi to, or any credits you want to kind of say before you go today?
Oh man, well, first of all, thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me, and no, I'm just so grateful for the people that support my music and our music, this genre.
Yeah.
I just feel so blessed, and I'll give a shout out to my amazing wife Priscilla and my awesome son Kevin, and they're really the heartbeat of my life. Oh. And just thankful to God for the blessing.
Is your son
being able to make music?
Is your son? Amen to that. Is your son a young Darren Ron kind of up and coming saxophone player at all? Do you think?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what path he decides to pursue. He is very talented musically and creatively, acting and theater and music, and so we'll see what he decides to do. But he's it's really cool to see him grow and do his thing.
Fantastic. Let's take you out with the one that really made it really big for you, and that was working with the great Wayman Tisdale. And Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Just give us a little bit of backstory to this before we say goodbye.
Well, I had hit a point in my career, like many musicians, where I was just wondering what was next and how I was going to survive making music. And through a series of amazing circumstances, I was connected to Dave Coz's label in L.A., and that was for Wayman's first record with them. He had done a few before on other labels, and it was Dave said, "Hey, I was thinking of this tune, this old McFadden and Whitehead song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now." And so they asked me if I would produce it, and I was trying to get my foot in the door, and I produced it. And we came to L.A. and mixed it, and 9 weeks later, it was number one on Billboard. And
amazing.
It's the one that kickstarted everything.
Did you play all the keyboard parts on here, or did you get someone else to do that?
I did. I played most of the keyboard stuff on the records I produce, and every once in a while I'll have a session player come in. But I played the keys on this,
good for you,
and the saxophone and the horn arrangement, and
Do you play guitar as well?
Not very well, no.
Well, that's good. You play keyboards. That's great. We're going to take you out with this. My special guest today has been the great Darren Ron, my friend and yours. One of the nicest people in the industry, and a great talented musician as well to boot. Thank you so much for coming in today, Darren, and I hope we can have an opportunity to have you on again right here on Solar Radio.
That.
Yeah, great to have you. Take care.
I would love that.
All the best and stay blessed. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, Michael.
listening to the Mike Parlett Radio Show. My special guest, Gemma Boulos, is up next. But before that, we're going to listen to this. This is Gemini by Ryan Montano. You're listening to Solar Radio, your classic and 21st century soul station. Yes, it was a great track. That is Ryan Montano and a track called Gemini from his latest product. His album just came out, Gemini, and that is a current single of his. And right now, we're very honoured to have the lovely Gemma Boulos again in the studio. How you doing, Gemma?
Very well. I was on time today. Well, kind of.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. And we were actually kind of like, we just got a little taste of you last week, and we thought we'd just have you back and so we could finish things off a little bit better.
Oh, I appreciate
So it's
that.
nice to have you here, and we were talking about some of the music that you've been working on, and maybe we'll be working on again at the studio here. We think we kind of finished off on the Latin song that you did on that album that you recorded, when was it? Back in 2000 and...
Back almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's before with no further ado, let's play that track again. What was it called?
I Believe in Love.
I
It was
Believe in Love,
Loggins
right.
and Messina.
Yes, it was. So let's play that. Here we go. This is my special guest, Gemma Boulos, again in the studio with me today. Lovely to have you here, Gemma. I Believe in Love.
Feeling love is feeling good. I believe in love. Feeling love is feeling good. Oh, feeling love. That's all. That's enough for me. And I see faces covered up and empty-eyed, empty spaces where there used to be soul inside. Nothing and no one ever gets to you. Seems the wind could blow right through you. Believing in gods I never knew ya. I believe in love. I believe in love. I do, yes. I believe in feeling good, and that's feeling love. Now up a money tree, you got to hurry. Monkey do and monkey see. We're on a one-way street and we're speeding, missing the signs you ought to be reading, passing things you later been needing. I believe in love. I believe in nobody sold me, always knew it, nobody told me. I believe in someone to hold me. I believe in love. I believe in love. I do, yes. I believe in feeling good, and that's feeling love. Yeah.
You're listening to the sound of Gemma Boulos, my special guest in the studio today. Yes, I love that. So taking you back about 10 years ago, and you were telling me last week that album was just something you did impromptu. All of you guys went in the studio and no rehearsal, just pretty much put it together like that, right?
Totally. Zero rehearsal. I had met most of the band that day, and
Wow.
a friend of mine had convened a band for me because that was a gift he wanted to give to me from all the work I'd been doing. And he I had really terrible charts, so there were barely any any indicators of what they should be doing or what kind of hits and we just played it through once, and then we recorded it, and it was amazing.
And you wrote a lot of the songs yourself, didn't you? But that particular one was Kenny Loggins' song, "I Believe in Love."
This one, so this
it's
jazz
very nice.
album, Good Company, has mostly covers. There's one original on it, but there was another CD that you and I are talking about, maybe reviving, and that was called Bridges, and there was mostly originals on that one.
Yes, my special guest in the studio today is the lovely Gemma Boulos with the amazing voice.
Thank you.
And it's great to have you here, Gemma. We're going to just dip into that album. Now, you sent me this, I think it was the day before yesterday, and I listened to it and I was just mesmerised by the singing. And let's just kind of let the listeners hear some of this wonderful work. We're going to come back and play a little bit more of this other album you did, maybe later on in the show if we get time. But I want to play this song because this is a song written by one of my kind of childhood sweethearts growing up.
Yes.
She was a pin-up girl for me, and I loved her voice, and I got all her albums, and she's just such an incredible talent. And I still believe, and even today, I think she's become a kind of a recluse over the years. But she's done a lot of theatre and just an immensely talented individual, and that is Kate Bush. Let's talk about this particular track that you did. This is this woman's work. Tell us about this.
So when I first heard this song, I was living in New York, and I was listening. We had Walkmans then.
Yeah, I remember those.
You remember those?
With cassettes.
Yes, exactly. And I listened to that. Somebody told me to listen to this song, and I was on the subway. And I was just bawling in the subway. And this woman comes and sits next to me. She's like, are you okay? And I said, I just discovered Kate Bush. And this was the song. And I had also heard the version from Maxwell. Maxwell did a beautiful version of this as well. So this is absolutely one of my favorite songs. It just goes straight to my heart.
My special guest, Gemma Boulos, and her version of this woman's work.
Pray God you can cope. I stand outside this woman's work, this woman's world. Oh, but it's hard on the man. Now his part is over. And now starts the craft of the father. I know you've got a little life in you yet. I know you've got a lot of strength left. I know you've got a little life in you yet. I know you got a lot of strength left. I should be crying, but I just can't let it show. Should be hoping, but I can't stop thinking all the things I should have said, but I never said. All the things I should have done, but I never did. All the things I should have given, but I didn't. Oh, darling, make it go. Make it go away. Give me these moments back. Give them back to me. Give me a little kiss. Give me your hand, baby. it go away. Just make it go away. I stand outside this woman's world, this woman's world. I know you've got it, I know you've got it. Give me your hand, give me your hand, baby. This woman's word, this woman's word. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
And that's how it finishes. There you go. What an amazing version of that song. From the Hounds of Love, Kate Bush and This Woman's Work, also done by Maxwell.
Yes.
So
yes.
let no one say this isn't soul, because that is the epitome of soul, if you ask me. Great day. And you're listening to Solar Radio, your classic 21st century soul station, where we play real soul, and that is certainly no exception. My special guest in the house is Gemma Boulos. Thank you so much for sharing that song with us, Gemma. And I would love to maybe reimagine that somehow, that song. Such a great song, really heartfelt.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of really cool opportunities to start thinking about.
Let's
revisiting some of these.
dip into some of the other stuff you did. You said you recorded that back in 1999 up in New York.
Yes, back in New York.
And some great musicians on there. There's a double bass on that, and a great piano player. Tell us about the musicians that were and how they came to be on that particular track.
Yeah, so we worked with Steve Postel. He was a producer and also an amazing acoustic and electric guitarist. And this was when it was still analog. We had to buy VHSs every single week just to get, to record the songs. And he convened this amazing group, Stefan Crump on bass. Oh my gosh, I ended up playing with him forever. He was just a wonderful, wonderful player. And we had some wonderful keys. Oh my gosh, why can't I remember his name? His first name was Peter, but I'll find out next week what his name was. But it was an astounding another opportunity because it was the first album I'd ever put out. And what an incredible experience.
It's amazing. And I've got to tell you, listeners, if you didn't catch Gemma or have listened to her on some of the other shows that we've had, she's not just a singer. And I say just a singer because, she's a real class singer. But she gave up, can you believe it? She gave up singing for 10 years to go off and to found her charity and go around the world and do all these wonderful things for people in Africa and all kinds of places all around. And stop singing pretty much, didn't you, for a while?
Yeah, it's been it's been 20 years since I've really performed. I performed for the first 5 years because part of why I left was I built a global peace movement, and I was singing a song that I wrote that we played back in the during the holiday season called "We Rise," and that song was. It was in response to September 11th. I was supposed to be in the World Trade Center when the planes hit. And so in response, I wrote that song, and I had this message from the universe that I had to build a million voice choir to sing it. So traveled around the world with my backpack and my guitar and convened people in over 100 cities in 60 countries to sing the song from all over the globe. And then I started, I learned about the water crisis as I was traveling, and I gave up everything, and that was when I gave up music, and I back in 2005, and from that point on I've been working in sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, training women to bring clean water and sanitation to their own villages because they're the ones who are disproportionately
Tell us
affected.
about that. Tell us about the water crisis. Obviously this is essentially a music show, but just let people know, because I think people need to know that, there is a water crisis
There is
You
indeed.
know, and it's not getting any better
No, it's actually
with global warming and everything else.
exactly with climate crisis. Yeah. So currently there are about 784 million people in the world who don't have access to water. And when we talk about access to water, that means they have to either walk 15 minutes to the water source or they don't have 5 gallons of water per person per day. So that's 784 million people. That's almost 1 in 10 people in the world. And then when you think about that, the women and girls are the ones who are most affected because they're the ones who have to go fetch that water. And so that water that they carry on their heads and their shoulders and backs, that weighs about 50 pounds. So imagine doing that every day, twice a day, maybe 3 times a day.
And then having to walk like 15
like
kilometers.
15 minutes over
Yeah.
a kilometer. Yeah, exactly. Some of them can spend upwards of 8 hours a day fetching water. So you can imagine girls can't go to school and women can't earn money. So it just completely just that cycle of poverty just continues. It's just heartbreaking. And so what we do is we train women to build their own water and sanitation technologies. They build tanks, they build water filters, they build toilets. It's amazing to watch these women.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you keep up doing some great work there, Gemma.
Thank
and,
you.
We're going to play another track. Which would you like to play from this particular album?
I'm thinking that a really nice one would be "Let the Girls Sing."
Okay, tell us about this.
"Let the Girls Sing." It was written by a dear friend who I met in New York, Justin Robert James, and he was part of a band called Too Cynical to Cry, and I loved his music. This song is called "Let the Girls Sing," and it's absolutely one of the loveliest songs that he's ever written. I was really honored that he let me sing it.
My special guest is Gemma Boulos.
Yesterday's kisses melting in my mouth still. Get me a witness. I think I've fallen deep this time. Yesterday's lessons still being felt in this heart of mine. So get me a doctor. I think I found a cure this time. When all the world is mocking, I'll be the one who cares. When all your dreams are forgotten, I'll take you to that place again. Oh, an idea of heaven has nothing to do with the stars in the sky, no. An idea of heaven is a vision of you with no pain inside. So let the girls sing it. So let the girls sing it. So let the girls sing it. One more time. So come to my window, lift me into the charcoal night. On the lips of beauty, a taste so fine, it's like a brilliant truth. Hey, yeah. Lay down your weapons and open your heart without a fight. So get me a prophet. I think my life is about to start again. When all the world is mocking, I'll be
My special guest in the studio today is Gemma Boulos, and that particular song written by
Justin Robert James.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to come back and talk to you a little bit more about some of your original material. But I want to talk to you about some of the people that have influenced you and made you the singer you are. Tell us about that particular
absolutely. Natalie Cole is up there at the top. I mean, her, so many songs. I can't even list them all. And then Anita Baker is absolutely, when she came out with that Rapture album, I was enraptured. I mean, It was absolutely mesmerizing. And she's and I loved that sort of her deep voice and her and you know, I never felt like she was too tricky. You know, everything really felt so from her heart, and I loved her. So she's absolutely one of my favorites.
Indeed. So let's play this track from here. This is from the Rapture album, with a number of my friends on there that played on that album. The late great Ricky Lawson on drums, Kirk Whalum, I believe, and of course Gerald Albright, who played bass on the album, great
amazing
saxophone player, but he was the musical director for quite a number, Greg Feeling Gaines, and quite a few other great musicians who we all have listened to on many different albums. Let's listen to this beautiful Anita Baker and the iconic You Bring Me Joy.
You bring me joy when I'm down. Oh, so much joy when I lose my way. Your love comes smiling on me. I saw your face, and then I knew we would be friends. I was so afraid, but your eyes, they'd say, come to me. So I'd say to you, can we talk for a while? You'd say it's alright. When you're at me, I smile. I feel your hands, and you feel mine. You bring me joy. You bring me joy. Don't go too far away. If I can't see your face, I will remember your smile. But can this be right? Oh, when should we be friends? I get lonely sometimes, and I'm mixed up again. 'Cause you're the finest thing I've seen in all my life. You bring me joy. My joy, my joy. That's all the finest thing I've seen in all my life. You bring me joy. My joy. You're my joy. My joy. You bring me joy. My joy. just love you.
It's been a long time since I played that track, but I did play it yesterday. We did a live broadcast with a great keyboard player and singer by the name of Tracy Carter came in yesterday. It's a guy, Tracy Carter, great gospel musician and producer, and Tita Farrar came in and sang for the Caribbean Social Forum. Want to give a shout out to all those guys for Pamela Franklin and all the wonderful things she's doing on her social forum. We did a live we do a live thing for them each month. It's called LA Saturday, which you should come in and sing on for the people that come on. They'd love it. They'd love to hear you. Let's play some Natalie Cole, of course, another one of your big influences, and let's tell us about this song that you've chosen for us.
So Mr. Melody is one of the things about Natalie Cole that I love is she's great at crossover. She can go from, sort of the pop and the soul and then move and seamlessly work it all into her jazz. And this is a really fun Latin beat song called Mr. Melody.
Yeah.
She's super charming on it.
Indeed. And we're going to take you out with this one. Thank you so much for coming in today. We're going to talk a bit to Gemma about re-recording some of her songs that we've heard today. And we are very excited about that. So watch this space on that one. We'll be back again next week with another Mike Parlett radio show and another special guest. Not sure who it's going to be, but needless to say, it'll be good. As they all are. I've been Mike Parlett. Thank you for joining us today. And please keep your dial very firmly tuned to Solar Radio. And please go to my YouTube page. It's Mike Parlett Radio Show on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the like button. And of course, we upload the show each week to Mixcloud as well, where you can download our podcast each and every week. Thank you so much. Take care. Whatever you're doing, be safe. God bless you, and see you next week.
Melody, you got me humming to your crazy beat. The more I hear it, the more I like it. You really made a hit for me, Mr. Melody. Mr. Melody, you are my melody. You do the sweetest things to me. Please won't you stay here for all time? You are my melody. You're as sweet as you can be, and it's good to know you're mine all the time. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Melody, you love who it makes me sing. I like loving you, you like loving me. Please don't ever change, Mr. Melody, Mr. Melody, Mr. Melody, Mr. Melody. Scubba-dubba-doo-ya, scubba-dubba-doo-ya, scubba-dubba-doo,
Solo.
Jazz.